Welcome back to Let's Chat About. Today's guest is Lizzie from the Backyard Banshee. And Lizzie is a professional tarot reader and a witchy business owner. She is also a blogger over on thegoodbusinesswitch.com. And she created backyardbanshee.com as a platform to share her knowledge and her passion for all things tarot, divination, magic, and rituals. And she is also a complete boss witch, trademark. And she, performs readings, but she also writes content. She supports business owners, and I'll let her get more into it in a minute, but I know y'all are just going to love her. So welcome, Lizzie. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. It's so fun to have my little witchy cackle in real life, with the face sometimes,
Yes.
So, thank you for having me.
Of course. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to have you here. And did I cover all of the bases, or would you like to add something else to what you do?
I mean, I'm one of those people that has fingers in so many pies. What am I not doing, right? I'm always having fun with something. The one thing that is consuming my life, a pure labor of love, is obviously the book that I'm working on, an A to Z of modern divination. So that's its own little baby. That's in addition to my two other tiny humans. So there's that.
Oh my gosh. When is that book supposed to be out? Or is it just kind of you're letting it do its thing?
So my initial goal was September last year, and then it was for January this year. But I'm doing that thing where I'm re-editing and re-editing and re-editing to the point where I'm like, why did I create this? Nobody's gonna like it, and it's not for that purpose. I need to come back to this a bit. It's a resource for people. It's with the intention to help other people, so I can take my time with it, and I know that by taking my time with it and being a little bit less critical with my edits is going to be beneficial as well, because there's been whole sections where I've just chopped it off, who needs to use 500 words? Yeah, it's just been brutal. But I think because I write for people like yourself, which I love doing, by the way,
I love it.
Yeah. So because I do write, I am quite critical in that sense. And if it's not fun, why bother doing it, right? So yeah, but I love the book, and it will be coming out soon. Hopefully by the end of 2023 it'll be all done and dusted.
Oh, good. I hope so, because I'm excited to read it. As an eclectic divination witch myself, I love all things divination, so I'm always learning a new technique.
Oh, you're gonna love this one then, because it's all ancient divination methods that have been upcycled for modern uses. So I'm talking really cryptic, mega crazy, obscure stuff that people haven't heard of before, like soul divination, whether that's through thumomancy or card divination, which is to do with hermeticism and all of the fun stuff, all of the ancient stuff, and then updated for modern day. It's really, it's going to be really juicy in its own way.
I love that. Oh, so that's your book, baby. But you also mentioned your two little humans. How old are your humans?
So I have Calliope and Gaia. Callie is 5, and she's just started school this year, and don't we know it? She is fiercely independent and super curious and lives up to her namesake. She adores books, poetry, stories, reading, all this fun stuff, and she's always singing, which is nice. And then we have Gaia, who is 3, and she also lives up to her namesake. She is always muddy, she's always covered in earth, she's a complete opposite to Callie, where Callie's really calm and likes to sit and read and likes things very cute and proper. Gaia comes bounding in head to toe, she looks feral, she's so much fun. She's so much personality, and we love that. And just today we picked her up from nursery, from preschool, and she was in the mud kitchen there, so she had mud all on her neck and in her nails, it's so hard to clean their hands, am I right? Their hands are always always filthy. But yeah, so that's fun.
Oh, I adore that. That's awesome. No, you sound like a friend of mine. She has 2 daughters, and her older one, and I guess there's a little more of an age difference. I think there's about 4 or 5 years between them. The older one is just graceful and loves to dress up and just so sweet. And they're both so sweet, but more artistic and quiet. And the younger one, she calls her feral child because she will literally be up climbing the trees to try and get over the fence to the other neighbor's yard and covered in mud and hair everywhere. And she likes to dress up, but she definitely has her own little style to it. So I just adore that. I love that dynamic.
Yeah. It is really fun. It's nice to see their personalities so bold, so young. Like, it's so very clear who they are. Like, we love that for them. So yeah, that's amazing.
Nice. It's amazing. So how do you kind of bring your witchiness and your magic into being a mom to them?
So, as most parents will agree, like, as an adult, I cannot have my own things. Everything is theirs. Like, they are very happy to just come and get stuck in. So what you can see behind me now is like my office. It's very like witchy, very witchy. I have tarot decks like everywhere. So it started out with that, really, like, on maternity leave with my eldest when she was very young, tarot reading, and then she would pull cards for me, which was really cute. Until they were going in her mouth, and then I'm like, okay, we'll put that back. So there's been that. Say if I've done a ritual and I'm putting things away, or I'm like cleansing my like space in some way, guaranteed they'll pop in just to see what I'm doing and leave with like crystals, a book, a cushion I was going to use. They just help themselves. So they have their own collections, they love to pick what they like, and we intuitively like let them choose. We don't tell them they can have this or that. Like, if they want to pick some rose quartz hearts because they're pink and sweet and it makes them feel good, like, that's actually what it's for, right? So we let them encourage them in that, especially when we go to museums and things like that. We let them kind of explore their own intuition in that way, and like follow what curiosity they have. Like, we let them choose. So we recently went to a museum in a city called Liverpool, and they have a great one there. It's called the World Museum. It's free, so we love a free museum.
Yes.
The top floor had like a planetarium and a science and space bit, and then the floor below, the fourth floor, was dinosaurs. So like, that was a bit of a jump for the two of them, and they both had their own preferences there. So like, my eldest went with her dad to explore the like sciencey bit there, and I loved it. They have like asteroids like that you could see pieces of, so like, that's for me. I like those kind of pretty rocks. But my daughter was just like, I want to see the dinosaur poo. I'm like, right, okay. So, you can explore that. So it's very much that. But even things like tarot, and they're asking what things mean, I'm like, well, what does this picture mean for you? It got to a point with my eldest that I actually ordered her a book. I put it here on the side so I can remember who the illustrator and author is. But it's Tarot for Baby. If you're familiar with it.
No.
How cute is this? Her favorite card is the Emperor with the little affirmation, "You are safe." Isn't that lovely?
I love that so much.
So like, can pick a card, can have a flick through. So that's really nice. It's only the major arcana, but like, for the minor arcana, we can talk about like what's on there. I have a Fortuna deck, which is very rainbow shiny, like, the holographic shiny cards we adults like. That's a firm favorite for the small ones. But even that, things like herbs, my girls know herbs really well now. Like, we have rosemary and lavender, and we enjoy lemon balm, chamomile, like we love. We make potion baths, so we like put things together with some Epsom salts, baking baking powder, like bicarb or soda in the bath, so it's all soft and their skin can feel better. We're a family of like eczema ridden folk, unfortunately, but like it helps.
Yeah.
It's fun. We make a big potion bath and we enjoy those. There are so many ways to enjoy little elements of witchcraft without it being too much of a danger to them, to let them like explore it for themselves. Even with cooking, intentional cooking, like with my youngest daughter, we cook quite a lot in the week. So like she'll help me make savory food. She's such a good cheese snacker. She'll like pick the cheese to eat while we're cooking.
Nice.
Even my eldest, she knows you have to stir the love in, and like we've given it lots and lots of love and like with intentions and stuff. So it's really cute. Like I love it for that element alone. I'm like, well, this is really nice.
I know, that just warms my heart. I found my witchy path when my kiddo was older, so they were already, I guess, 14 or 15. So, I missed out on the opportunity to have those little interactions, but, it's been really interesting to raise a teenager, as a witch and as a witchy mom. And, we've done a lot of those kind of things where it's like, okay, you stir something into your tea or your hot chocolate, that sort of thing. But they've really just kind of gone and explored things. And it's so fun because my husband is, he's a former Buddhist, and he also he carried a pack of tarot cards around with him for years. And so became very well versed in tarot and could read very well. And so it was just so fun. A couple of years ago, my kiddo got their first deck, and they're down on the floor going through it, and I'm just like, this is so much fun. But we've got local little witchy shops, and we love to pop in and grab cool stones. And in the same way, I think that it's never too late or too early to start learning how to listen to your intuition and your inner voice.
Oh, completely agree. I just this Christmas bought my grandma a herbal apothecary thing, so she can start making her own witchy potion. She's in her 80s. You're never too old, never too young. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I've met so many adults who are not practicing witches, but they're starting to learn to trust their inner voice and their intuition and listen to their gut. And it's a little scary sometimes because the world teaches us it's no, this is the way you're supposed to do things. And then, they'll come across somebody like myself who's like, well, what does your gut tell you? And they're like, well, it tells me this, but my brain says this. And I'm like, okay, let's work with this. Let's look at it. So how fortunate your girls are to have this from the beginning, have this trusting their intuition from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, they are very fortunate. They're very lucky, these two. There's nothing that we wouldn't do for them. And I appreciate that, I am a white woman in a fairly wealthy area. It's a safe area. And I know that's not accessible to everybody. That's one of the reasons why I built the website. You've seen, I try to provide as many free resources for folks as I can so that it's beneficial. It's just like your website, providing correspondences and all the fun stuff. That stuff you could do with your own children, with your teens, getting to know them and what they think about these sorts of things. I can't wait for the conversations for when they are older. So I think that's so special for you because you can see this kind of explode for you now and have these conversations where it makes sense versus a 3-year-old who's because it's nice. I'm okay.
Yeah. No, my kiddo would definitely see the rose quartz heart and be like, okay, I'm really drawn to this. So why? And so, that kind of developmental process is there, but also that curiosity is more mature. So that's been really fun. So you're going to love it. It's going to be amazing.
And do you know what? They might not be interested in this when they're older, but as long as they're kind, like I think I've done a good job. Like that's a lot of like witchcraft and divination and all this. It's like that gentleness with yourself and with others, I feel. Whilst you're manifesting, whilst you're like recuperating, whilst whatever your intentions are, just being kind and helping others, you know. It doesn't matter if you're a witch or like you worship like the Christian God or what, like just being kind is super important. That's when you're doing okay.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, I know that they will carry that with them. And it sounds like little Gaia will carry a lot of kindness for the earth too, because she's covered in it all the time.
This is so true.
I love it. Well, I popped your website up here when you started talking about it. But tell us a little more about what people can find on said website and where they can connect with you online.
Cool. So I'm mainly on my website because I'm like fleetingly on like Instagram and very rarely on TikTok because to be honest, I utilize socials for my clients. Like I don't really do, you know, you kind of like if you're making coffee for people all day, you don't really want to drink coffee yourself, which is kind of unheard of in my house. Like all we do drink is coffee, but you know, so
I hear you. I have mine.
But yeah, so like I'm trying to be like around on socials a bit more for myself. So mainly like through email, like through my newsletter. Like just this weekend we had like a community called Catch Up. So like I was pulling cards for people for free. You know, it's just a chance for people to get to know each other and share their stories and things, and that was really lovely. So that was really nice. So yeah, like you can sign up to the newsletter on my website, like where the thing is down below.
Right there.
But yeah, the website itself, like we have lots of stuff on there really. I say we because like there's a few of us who are now working on it to make it a little bit more user friendly, because in my head I am chaotic and I'm like, let's put all my notes down on paper here, and so we need to make it look a bit better. But you can learn tarot for free on my website. Like I have tarot spreads as well. So some of them have the free tarot spread interactive thing. So you can even have a free online reading, which is really cool. Divination methods, because divination is my jam. Like I love witchcraft, but like divination and getting really freaky, like that's absolutely my jam.
Love it.
So yeah, like there's stuff on there with scrying or like using pendulums, or even there's going to be a few things you've probably not heard of before, like shell divination. I'm expanding the witchcraft page, like making it a bit better with like rituals and witchcraft basics for those who are new to it, you know, and I'm trying to find accessible ways on there for folks. And yeah, and there's also like fun book reviews and cool deck reviews. So if you're thinking about getting ones for yourself, it's on there too. But that's how it's looking right now. I've definitely missed something off, but like it's so much fun to create for it. Whilst I've been working on the book, it's been like 50-50 in terms of my attention divided to that. But yeah, so like that's where you can find me, and that's what you can find.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. No, that's perfect. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I will have all of your links down in the description below. And yeah, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I love speaking with you. Thank you for having me. This has been so chill.
Of course, of course. All right, I will chat with you soon. And for those listening, be sure to connect with Lizzie. You're going to love her. Thanks.